And we have finally figured out a way to silence this beast. Freddie, we lock him in the bathroom when we're shooting the video. Freddie, if you only knew. Freddie. He is so much fun to have around, but boy, he never shuts up. And his times Les and I just go nuts. We just can't believe that he can. You know what? He even makes noise. We're having lunch or something, and he just goes on and on and on. But we love him so much. I know Warren Walker. I spoke to Warren Walker about his parrots. He has several. And when you call up Warren Walker's number, the answering machine has the parrot speaking on the answering machine. I think that's so cool. Maybe I got to get him to.
Hi, my name is Wendy. Buy a video today so I can have pizza.
Freddie, we have work to do in the shop. Work, Freddie. Work. You know what work is, Freddie? You have any idea what work is? Anyway, this has proven to be one of the more popular things that we try to cover on the video. We try to cover as many things as possible with. And we've got a great question, I think, with some good general information that should help everybody. Now today's question, and this was one I thought was perfect. Tommy Fluker is a combat flyer of quite good renown. I think he's one of the top flyers, but again, I don't follow combat, so I'm not sure. He's building his first full-size stunt ship and doing his first finish with Brodak dope. So of course he has the good sense to call Wendy. So if something goes wrong, he can blame me. So anyway, his question was, and I thought it was something I answer at least once a week. How much Brodak dope do I need for a full-size stunt ship? Now, what I suggested to him is to get 2 gallons of clear. The reason is, you probably need a little more than 1 gallon, but if you get to the end of it, and right at the end, you're going to need another pint or a quart, whoops, no good. You lose time, you pay extra shipping. So if you're going to ship an order, and these things all have to be shipped flammable, get yourself 2 gallons of Brodak Clear. If you're starting from zero. First rule, if you're starting from zero, get rid of all your old paint. Give it to somebody. Start with all fresh product. If the ship that you're working on is going to be a big part of your life for the rest of your life, every ship is, start with the best. Get all fresh product. I would always start with 2 gallons of clear. I would also get 2 gallons of thinner. Here's the reason. You can use hardware store thinner or body shop thinner if you want to clean the gun or if you want to wipe off your car wheels or something. But if you're putting finish on a plane, use the best thinner you possibly can. You get the best result when you use the best product all the time. And I find that if I have 2 gallons in the house at the end of the ship, I usually have a lot left over. Well, it's a lot better than getting right to the last day and you run out of thinner. And that is so frustrating. It's so frustrating to run out of product. I would have a pint of retarder on hand. I would hope that I wouldn't have to use it, but I'd want to have it on hand just in case. Think a 4-ounce jar of white primer, specifically to go over fillets or any composite parts that are going to be on the plane, or any fiberglass areas. A 4-ounce jar would be plenty. A quart of silver would be the minimum. Now in my case, I would be using 2 quarts because I'm going to sand 3, 4, 5 times and sand it all off. So for me, I'll go with 2 quarts. But a person who maybe this is their first finish, like anybody that's at the level where they need to know this is useful information. This is information I think you can put right in the bank. May not be the exact thing, but a pint of each color. Now, in Tommy's case, I told him to get a quart of white because white may or may not cover the way he wants it to cover. But if you're painting red, or especially if you're painting over a good silver coat, a pint of each color is cheap insurance that somewhere down the road you're not going to run out. A lot of times you can get away with a 4-ounce jar if you just have a little red stripe or blue lettering or whatever. But now, what's important is, look at this. The amount of money that this is relative to what your time is worth. In other words, if you spend an extra $10 for this material, but it saves you 30, 40 hours in the finishing process, you're a very highly paid person. This is where you really get into a sensitive area for a lot of people. They'll always ask you, well, how much does a finish on a plane cost? Yeah, well, how much is it worth is how you should factor it. I used to keep track of when we used brand S product. I used to keep track because I was a dealer for their products, and I used to keep track of what the actual cost was. And because you needed a lot more, well, yeah, it costs more money. Now with Brodak, you use a lot less. And I think in the end, the cost is significantly less, even though on an ounce-for-ounce basis it may be a little more expensive than the older brands. But I think because of the high quality, because of the high pigment content, because it's easy to use, and it doesn't factor in the biggest thing of all, time. See, I can do a Brodak finish in about half of the time it would take with the older brand. See, in the end, one of the things I always have to remember, and it really is true, in the end of your life, you never run out of money. Never. You never run out of money. You never had anybody who said, oh gee, I got 6 hours left in my life, but I have no money. No, that doesn't happen. What happens, you run out of time first. And you always run out of time. So in the end, if you can save time, time really is money. And maybe that's the biggest lesson of all to learn from this. So I hope we're going to get to see some pictures of Tommy's plane, and I hope he's going to have good luck after watching the Brodak dope videos. I can't imagine he wouldn't be able to put a good finish on a plane. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, get a fresh cup of coffee in Elliot, get him vacuuming up everything immaculately. He's got this wing which we made and sanded out on the previous video. This wing is as beautiful as any wing I've ever seen. And we're ready to do the fiberglassing. Now we're going to be using the method that Les Demet came up with and we've done an experimental wing. This, I think, is not an experimental wing, it's a real one. We've done it with 045 sheeting that Elliot has brought from England. The wood is very, very light. The sheets were only 8 grams. And he's got it sanded out beautifully. And now what we want to do is glass one side of the wing. We're going to let that dry, then flip it and glass the other side. So pick whichever side you want to glass first. It's your choice.
This side looks as good as any.
Okay, always, most important thing, double check with your hands any imperfections, and most of all, vacuum up all the dust. If you get a little lump of dust under there, once you lay the resin down, you can't get it out. I'll get everything set up. Yep, just get it clean as a whistle. So we laid out, this is 1/2 ounce glass cloth that we got from Brodak, available from Brodak's if you don't have any. 1/2 ounce. Elliot's going to mix up some resin, get the rubber gloves on, go over to our little magic little bench over here, and we're going to use West 105 resin. It already has a pump, so you take 1 pump of resin, 1 pump of hardener. It's pre-mixed. We have a box of little flux brushes here that we use for this kind of an operation. Good idea to put a little piece of tape on the end because this is a razor edge, and what happens, it cuts through the glove almost immediately. So put a little piece of tape on that first. See, little tips like this can really save you a lot. Not using gloves is out of the question. You definitely need gloves for this.
Why is that, Wendy?
You get this resin on your hands, it's on your shirt, it's in your nose, you glue your ears to the back of your head. But it's amazing. This stuff has feet, it has legs, it has wings. It's just easier to wear gloves.
Okay.
And in the long run, you get used to, absolutely get used to using them. It's not a problem at all.
What brushes are these?
Flux brushes, available from, I think Brodak sells them, but any hardware store would have them. They're very inexpensive.
Good.
This resin is made. It doesn't matter what you put in first. 1 pump. Go slow. Try not to ingest air because it's cool in the shop now. Cool will give us a little extra working time. And this is a great, great resin system if you're going to fiberglass any kind of glassing work.
Okay.
Now take a thing of hardener. The hardener's the little fat one there.
This one?
Yeah.
Let's put me out of the way just for a second.
It pre-meters it so you always get the right amount. You just give it one pump stroke. Make sure it doesn't have a big air bubble in it. Then you want to mix that up, and when you think it's mixed, mix it 2 minutes more.
Okay, it's mixed.
Yeah, I did that many times. Mix it, give it another 2 minutes.
Okay.
I always look at my watch and say, okay, give it 2 minutes. It's worth it because if that stuff isn't mixed and you get dry, especially when you're laying it out.
Something I've always wondered about doing this is the air bubbles that get into it. Does it matter
Nope.
when we're doing something like this?
Nope.
No.
Air bubbles are all going to get squeegeed out.
Okay.
Any number of squeegees, Sig sells them. These are ones I got from Brodex. Again, you want to use one that the edge is nice. If it isn't nice, you run it on like just what I wanted to do here. Right? If you want a really clean one, if you get a little niche in it, what'll happen, it tears the cloth. Just make sure it's smooth. If it isn't, we have a whole tray in them somewhere.
But there seems virtually no resin.
Oh, they're down by the B25. That's the problem. Yeah, I just keep them up there, but keep the end. I use it when I'm making a carbon gear every day. Just keep that edge nice and smooth.
I mean,
Yeah,
just no
okay,
resin
but that's
at all.
1 ounce, 1 fluid ounce.
Right, okay.
If we need a little more, some big wings, you may need a little more. If you do, it's better to mix 1 ounce at a time
Right.
because you have extended pot life.
Okay.
That won't start kicking off. The quicker you can spread it out, the longer shelf life, pot life you'll have.
Right.
If you left this in the jar and I took the same exact amount and spread it out over here, I would have about 10 times the working time. Yours would kick off, get hot, smoke, and it's over. So as soon as you have that 2 minute time window used up, start in the middle and start making a sunburst. Just start putting it on. Doesn't have to be cute. We've just laid the cloth in place. The cloth has a chemical in it called Velon C that absorbs the resin. You don't have to paint the wood and put the cloth on, although you could. You can use any pattern you want. The best pattern is to start in the middle. Even if it's a fuselage nose, start in the middle of where the cloth is going to be and work toward the edges. I think that's pretty self-explanatory what you're doing no matter what you're glassing. Get the whole thing wet. When the whole thing is wet, we'll squeegee off all that we can get off. Then this side will have to dry before we go on to side 2. Well, we're going to tissue over this.
This is very similar to a process you'd use for tissuing, although you
I don't know if it's similar, but
Okay.
that might not be the right analogy. But the quicker you can get the resin on, and it really doesn't matter how much you glom on, because you're going to squeegee it off. If you took it out of the cup and just poured it on, it really wouldn't matter. This is just to make it a little more workmanlike, so you don't have it dripping over the edges. And there you go. As that looks, as soon as you start carding it off, not a problem. And as you get it worked out, you're buying yourself plenty of time. Now, if we really wanted to, if this were the first time you were ever doing this, we would just shut the heat off in the house for an hour, let it cool down. Every degree that you can cool the temperature will give you more and more working time. Every degree that the temperature goes up, you're going to have less working time. So if this is the first time you're doing it, you want to maximize that working time. Some of the little tips that'll make this go a lot easier. You can see he's got a nice big spatula. It's always good even if you use a new spatula each time for this, the little spreader. What you don't want to do is start at one end and work to the other side. You want to always be safe from the middle, out, middle, out, middle, always from the center. Then you're pulling the cloth in tension, the e-glass. And you see you get almost...
So if I do that,
right.
and then don't do that.
Exactly. You want to constantly be stretching it and stretching it and stretching it in all directions.
Okay.
And this will take a few minutes, but you'll get almost all of it off. And the last, let's see how much you got off. Now we started with an ounce. You've got 3/4 of an ounce off already. The last thing we'll do when Elliot's got plenty of time here, We'll just take a heat gun, heat this with a little bit of heat, and you'll get even more off. Now, I wouldn't suggest doing this if it was cored.
Okay, so
It's just easier to do this before it's cored.
why heat it up, Wendy?
The heat lowers the viscosity of the resin, makes it more watery, to make it a simpler term, and then you can card more of it off or squeegee more of it off.
Right.
But obviously you don't want to card it all off. There's a point of, like anything else, it's like sanding. When you're sanding a coat of silver, you don't want to sand it all off, or, you know, maybe you want to know just where that point is. And you'll learn it very quickly. Now we can go up to the center line on this at all times. Because don't forget, when we join these panels, we're going to put the glass ellipses on the center. So we'll be working glass to glass. And this is a resin that's called a laminating resin. It's made specifically to do that, to add layers, to laminate. A lot of different West Systems resin. We use a lot of West products. You can call West up. You can buy this almost any place that sells boat supplies, marine supplies. They make a resin called Pro-Set that we use on other things. You can buy a gallon of it for, if I remember right, $60 or $70. Most people wouldn't need a gallon for a lifetime. A quart and a thing of hardener and the two matching pumps is a good investment for any modeler, though. Another trick, wherever you lay it, put cups underneath the spouts. They tend to drip as temperature changes. And always have it on newspaper. I buy the flux brushes, 500 at a time, from any place that you can buy them wholesale, or if you only need a few, you can probably get them from John Brodak. That's looking real nice. Yeah, that's exactly what it should be. Now, we can hit that with just a little bit of heat. And I mean, you don't want to put the thing on high setting and get every drop off. Ooh, that is looking nice. Maybe I have a job for you.
Well.
There you go. But you notice each time you do it, it stretches it out a little nicer. And look how much you got off. You got almost all of it off.
Yeah.
Now, another thing, too, with any resin, especially Westwood, you don't want to have, if you mix 2 or 3 ounces of resin, it's going to kick off quickly. If we didn't have enough resin now, we would mix another batch right now in a separate cup. You don't want to mix any more than you have to. It just reduces the work time.
Okay.
Step here, and we've just come back from a nice fattening lunch. Get the extra cloth trim, then we're going to basically put this in the opposite cradle, do the other side in exactly the same way, and then this will be ready to go back to Johnny Duncan. Now Les, are those templates ready? Here they are over here. Is there still work to do on those templates?
Yeah.
Okay, show me what has to be done, and I can finish that up tonight, or...
Well, here's the new template. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, we can use this because this is the 4-part.
Okay.
For the other cores, the other foam wings, they're already cored with
we got.
So we're limited there.
You're really
but this will work for this one.
Okay.
I've got one of them cut out. Then I'll be damned if I know which one it is.
Okay, but soon as we need to have the other side of this glassed. Okay, and once that other side is glassed, well, I guess it won't be a big deal, then we'll just send this back to Johnny.
Here's the one that's cored out, or the second one.
Okay.
For the root.
Yeah, these are...
You can see we left a little more.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
All right, Elliot, you can go to town here, baby. Usually find out is each one you do, it gets a little bit better. You can get a little bit more of the resin off. But the main thing is you get comfortable doing it. And once you're comfortable doing it, you can just do it over and over and over and over again. And I think you're at that point now.
Yeah. So it's a lot easier.
Elliot's ongoing, one of the little things we wanted him to do while he was here was make a tune pipe for himself. And we're going to get him to do that right now, give him the little technique that we're using. Since we've done this on the previous video, we'll just kind of bypass this. Just putting on a little bit extra resin, and then we'll squeegee it out, get it in the oven, and he can have a tune pipe for his 40 ship. He'll actually have a 40 pipe before I will. Think, Chickie. What do you think? Have a tune pipe for supper?
I could have been home with everything.
Is while Elliot's here, we're trying to get him to pick up as many little techniques as he can, because he has stunt clinics in England, of course, and always able and willing to help all the people in the world. So I always find it real productive to spend my time with people who pass the information on and enjoy the sport that we all seem to enjoy so much. And Elliot's very successful. Cardinal Evolution, which I think we've sold over 100 sets of planes to already, so must be something good about it. Whenever I think of England, this is what I think of. Well, when that Spitfire went over Elliot's shop when we were in England, wow, unbelievable. Anyway, things you remember about a long 3-week trip, you remember 5 seconds of it above all else. This visit, we had two experimental pipes that are going to go to England. A little bit of different wrapping technique. I put some wrapping tow in them. Typical carbon fiber baffles, and Rich Oliver's pipes will have aluminum pieces in the back, so. But we need 2 pipes to send back to England today. Elliot's leaving today, and during his visit, we got him some good hands-on experience making pipes.
Always the most impressed with is when I can figure something out, and in the course of figuring it out, I can use it for other projects. Now, it just happens this is the world in reverse. So I'm waiting for Les to finish the drawings here. And to be honest, Les has had some personal things he's had to work through, so I don't think he's going to be here for another week. He's been gone a week or so there may be a gap in getting these videos done, but they'll be done, and I never try to rush through things. I've been sick, Les has been busy working on drawings, but I ran into something that I thought was really worth sharing. Now, you know I'm building this model railroad, and I go down to the train store, and I bought this mold. And of course it's a rubber mold, and what it does, you fill it with plaster, and you can see what happens is you pull out the plaster, and it's like you're pulling out Nobler cowlings. Now I already made the rock walls, but just let me show you this. This is really something, because this is the first time I've ever done this, and I'm going to be making some big mountains on the train layout. But it's funny how you can find something that works in one area of life, transpose it right over to another area. Now look at the detail on this. Look at this up close here. I mean, that's a pretty detailed rock. Now I'm going to cast these up. I'm going to cast a whole bunch of them up and blend this into this part of this model train layout that I'm making. But in the meantime, I'm going to spend a couple of days working on this. Look at this bird. Working on this train layout so that when Les gets chicky, it's a rock, it's not for you. He's got to eat everything. Anyway, and as soon as Les gets the fuselage drawings done, we're going to get back to working on that. So here up in the Spitfire bedroom, you can get an idea of, and I did it kind of like a take-apart construction thing. And there are all those plaster cast rocks. It shows you how one technology, once you learn one type of technology, you can use it over and over and over again. So far on this train layout, I've been able to use a lot of different little technologies, but that mountain is one of them. And in the near future, this is going to get put right in place. But in the meantime, hey, it's fun learning some new way or some new thing I can do with the molding technology that we've been using for who knows how long. Actually, I'm anxious to see this in position, but everything on it is wet. The finish on it is wet. It's got to dry overnight. It's been a really nice diversion working on this for the past couple of weeks. What those rock castings look like when they're painted, they're stained with dye. Now, I was real happy to find out Mike Costello from being, he's working on a layout too, and we're going to try to get together this weekend maybe, or the weekend after, and
get his layout started too. It's always good to have somebody else around to inspire you and get you moving, but this was my first attempt at making a mountain. Kind of satisfied the way it went. And we got other things. We got Steve Moon coming in this week. Bringing a new car. He's buying a car up here and he's going to drive it back to Texas. So hope you're enjoying seeing how our little train layout is evolving over the years. And it is years. Seems like years anyway. Projects. And this is the first one we've had of this series here in the shop, so I wanted to include this on the video. This is going to Jack Homer. Of course, the shims come in a box. And what we've been doing for some of our customers is breaking these in, getting them ready to go. A couple little tips that are worthwhile since we're working on 40 ships as one of the projects. I always love looking at these. God, they're just jewelry. Anyway, the nice little muffler that comes with this. I don't know if this is an extra cost option or if it comes with the muffler. But it's all available from Richard Oliver, of course. And we're going to set this up. This has a shaft extension, which is nice if you make. I don't really like these on 60 ships, but on 40 ships, well, you got to make your own decision. On a 60 ship, I kind of like not having that load on the front bearing. Now what we're going to do, we're going to set this up for Jack. We're going to break it in for him. It's really cold out there, so I'm really going to have to put my long johns on. And I've been getting over being sick. I've been sick twice, actually. This is just not a good winter for me, I guess. It just requires taking that piece off. Now look how nice this is. First off, it's a sealed front bearing. Now we need a longer shaft. Of course, like all road jets, the shaft comes off. This is a longer piece. Now the other nice advantage, see when you don't have the extension shaft, you see that little lip sticks out just a little bit? Sometimes it causes a prop interference. But this is so nice having it all in one piece. What an upgrade over having it. I don't even want to think about some of the other things I've had to deal with. Alright, so we're going to put this all together, get on a test bench. This really is a nice engine. We've done the rear exhaust ones. I'm anxious to try the side exhaust ones. I'm really excited about getting these going because Les has, first off, we have 340s in the shop, and while Les has not been in the shop lately, his is already broken in. We've already made and tested tune pipes for the rear exhaust, so this will be our first chance to really give one of these a try and get some feedback on it. Boy, if you've never held one of these in your hand, it's I'll give you an example. When I was buying Karen her Christmas present, we were looking at jewelry. And I'm not a jewelry guy. I don't wear rings and stuff for obvious reasons. But we were looking at jewelry, and I picked up what ultimately became her Christmas present. It was a gold watch. And I said, gee, it just feels, and gee, even if it didn't look nice, it just had a nice feel in my hand. And of course, I wound up buying it for her. Anyway, let's get the long johns on and get out there and break this guy in. This upgrade that Richard's been sending with all the motors is nice instructions for people going to break in their own engine. And of course, if anybody doesn't, I charge $25 to break it in, set the needle, and in the case of 4 strokes, get the carburetor set. So, and of course that includes the cost of a gallon of fuel, so I'm really getting $10 for it. Anyway, there you are. Richard's address if you're interested in any of this stuff, or if you just want to chat with a guy that really is one of the premier people in the world of stunt. He's a good one.
out the muscle. Breaking Jack's engine, and this is the pond. It's covered with ice. The fish are all in hibernation. The wind is howling and it's freezing here. And we're getting ready for another snowstorm. Get the snowblower out and get it charged up here. Anyway, these motors really come in 45 minutes to an hour.
Center, it didn't, I rushed it to go up,
Today
and
we're-
I didn't finish doing it.
Today we're looking at, this is Carlos Serra's Cardinal kit that's in, I guess he's, save all that foam.
Yeah.
And all we're gonna do, we're gonna wrap the lead out. Let me see what you just. Okay, we're ready to, and of course, you could tie them or you could crimp them. I like to crimp them. Ooh, you did a nice job. Let me see how you did the middle with the fiberglass.
Wow,
They said somebody here today.
I messed up.
You only did one layer or two?
This has one heavy and two center. So
Okay.
it has one inch, one 2
Yeah.
inch, and a big one.
This is the best, though. Put the ellipses like that. That
yeah.
works the best.
But it didn't come out nice. I left it on the middle of doing this to go Christmas shopping and whatnot. But,
So you like this is mountain number 2. We have one mountain up on a train line. I'm putting a plaster on tonight, so Carlos is gonna, I'm gonna wrap the, look at its tip weight box.
Oh, this I
Whoa!
want to show you.
Show me this tip. Man, do you know how to make mountains?
Yeah.
I'm getting sick of working with plaster. Plaster wood is so much nicer.
Usually,
I'm sick of breathing plaster dust. It's all over the
usually what
house.
happens, I have to move mountains, but sometimes
All
I...
right, give me this. I'll put my hand under here. Open the tip weight box. Let's see
Yeah,
if
with the
high
left
tech.
hand. No, this is no high tech. I was looking for a quick way to do it.
We're always
It is a
looking for
very-
ideas.
This is a very quick way. You know what a Forstner bit is?
No.
It's a wood
Oh yeah, I know what a Forstner
that
is. Yeah.
makes
A
a
round-
flat hole.
Yeah. Okay.
A round flat
The
hole.
bottom of it isn't a point. It's a flat.
Exactly.
I got some Forstner.
So I got... This what takes longer to do this wingtip
It's
box.
longer to take the bolt out than to make the tip weight.
Yeah, what takes long, especially left-handed with the lousy screwdriver. Come on. What takes long?
My
is
tools
change
are
bits.
used. They're not pretty tools.
I know. I can tell that.
These are men's tools.
Yeah, used to mix paint. God damn it.
You don't think this tool was ever used? This is brand new, high tech.
So what I do, I drill
Let's see.
a 1/8 of an inch deep hole with a
Okay.
1 inch bit. Drill a 3/4 inch deep and put a
Plywood.
insert
Yeah,
on the
okay.
bottom. Takes about 2 minutes to make this tip weight box.
What a great idea. After I just made my A26 tip weight box, took me all day. Here
know
I'm
what?
telling everybody how cool I am, and then now they're going to know I'm a phony.
You know what?
That's a great idea.
Takes longer.
And you didn't hollow the tip, of
No.
course, so what the hell for? If
As
you
a matter of fact, what I
You
did,
could make round pieces of lead for in there if you wanted to.
you know what I did? I have already about 2 inches of tip weight built in on the tip.
Yeah, because the weight of the thing is half an ounce.
So what I need now to trim is somewhere between half an ounce and 3/4 of an ounce.
Sure,
to
that
trim.
that looks real nice, by the way. Plus the paint will stick.
And you know how many washers come in a package? It's about 20 for about $1.
That sounds like my price.
Anyway, that's...
All right, so we're going to wrap the lead outs
Yeah.
on this. Okay. And then you're going to take and detail out this mountain with all my rock castings.
Yes, I'll do
I'm
that.
making rock. I got boxes of rock castings here. Look at all these I got.
But I thought this was a quick way.
That's a great idea. That's
Quick way to
hey,
do it.
you're always
And
good ideas.
You can always lose the tip weight box.
Yeah, you could lose it, right?
You know,
Or
you
you
can-
could put a piece of balsa wood on top.
Absolutely. You can...
Just put balsa
It's
wood on
not
top.
finished. You put a balsa wood, send it to...
Well, I like that. It looks so nice. God, you're a
It's-
smart guy.
No
How come
cost.
I didn't think about that? Boy, I can't even take credit for your idea.
See, because you have too much time and you have to do things right. I don't have time. I just bunch of things around.
Anyway, we're going to use these special crimpers that we use to do the fork end belt cranks to get Carlos's lead outs.
Okay.
Nice and even. We'll do that. There's no point doing that on camera. And let's call in the mood for pizza tonight.
Whatever. Whatever you guys want.
I'm in the mood for. Just finish that mountain for me. That's so labor intensive. Jeez. Okay. So here we are up in the train room. And you can't believe that Carlos has made this. He's made this for my train layout. Check this out. It'll fly inverted already. What the hell? Anybody could just go up and down. Come on.
That is great.
What is Dan Benjak when we need it?
Where's Banjock? Can you do a loop with it?
No.
Look at the little guy. He's got a balsa wood guy.
But you understand the idea. The idea is to have a motor mounted on a gimbal on a two-axis thing. I'll show you in a second what you need to do here. But it's, you can let it fly all day long, you know.
So the truth is you don't see this anywhere else in the world except on Windy videos. Can you picture, wait a minute, move this over here.
Wait.
Oh, Uncle Bill, the train hit Windy's Y in the B-29 and the train ran into him.
But you see the speed.
Okay, ladies, do you believe this? Do you?
Only you.
Oh man, the speed is perfect.
This is about
The speed is perfect.
What you need to do.
I prefer to fly 6-second laps.
That's good.
Oh, you're in trouble now, Carl. Oh, here it goes. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. And Banjock's going for a flight. Banjock's dying to go for a flight. Oh, Danny. Danny. Oh, please, Danny. Oh, no. Oh, Danny. Danny, please. Oh, no. Oh, please. I'll let you in the nets next year, Wendy, please. Oh, my gold car. Oh, my God. Now, you notice this is going to be on a future video. That is so cool. Carlos Sarah has figured that all out. That is great. Carlos. Oh, they scared Danny, Chris. Ah! He hit the goal car. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. Now, I want to see what Carlos has in the jukebox here.
No, the only thing you need to do. See this motor. It's just, pieces of plastic I have around. What you need to do is to mount the motor on a two-axis support. So the motor can instead of tilt in one direction.
Oh, yeah.
Tilt in two different directions.
Now, are you going to figure out so we can take off and land? Now, I just don't want to go around in circles like a...
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Okay, we got to have magnets, or what are we going to do to make it take off and land?
Whatever, it depends on how elaborate you want to go with this.
So give me the caption here, Mr. Carlos. This is the Prowler.
This is Prowler.
Okay, and what motor you got in there?
It's a S40.
Okay.
Same. I was just playing around with different color schemes. Instead of inclines, I use a very thick
I saw it.
fast lines.
Yeah.
Look like, a bit different from the regular inclines, and just very simple color scheme that's quite visible. And
That's Bart Klapinski's design?
I also experiment a lot with the paint, like that black is not really black, it's black with some purple transparent on top, makes it bluish. The copper is copper pigment.
Yeah, you can hardly see. When I've seen it in real life, it looks a lot brighter.
And the gold that you see there, that's not gold there either. That's called interfinous yellow and was sprayed over black. It's also a pigment that's mixed.
And this is the one where you had to disappear in inclines?
But those are the
Or it's just out of focus?
It's out of focus.
And this one, he's got flames. You can't see it in the picture. There's
Exactly.
flames on the tail, but they disappear in daylight or
The
whatever.
flames were sprayed with interference yellow and very light.
Now, what is that, modeling paint? I can't even get this at an angle where you can...
What kind of modeling paint?
I mean, is that like car models? What do they make that paint for? Car models?
No, it's regular pigment mixed with dope.
This is actually a nice looking... You never got to fly this yet?
This airplane does not fly level. It runs up and down. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Something's out of alignment, or the tail heavy, or what?
I really can't fly. I have tried different things, different ways to do it, but I can't really put a finger on.
No, those inclines don't
This
look
is not
bad.
black either. This is black with a touch of what did I put in there? Oh, it's touch of gold pigment on the black, so makes it like pearlescent. It's strange looking black,
Yeah.
but not to be a different experiment.
You have our latest Carlos Serra's invention, soon to be a pro stunt product you'll be able to buy for your train layout, the B-25 flying around, and Wendy's personal mountain. Mountain 1, the other mountain we're making's going in that corner. I can't wait. So what do you think of the trains? They look okay?
Oh, I think it looks
Yeah, pretty
quite
neat.
nice.
A lot of fun.
I like this mountain. This mountain.
Now, today we're expecting Steve Moon. He's driving up here from Texas, and he bought a car, some kind of hot rod car. We're going to try to check it out. And a couple of the guys locally, and maybe Bob Zambelli, are going to stop by. So what I did, I got up real early, laid up all the molds for the day's production, so we basically could have some fun today. And Mike Costello might stop by with his A26 wing, so looks like we're shaping up to have a good day today. So wait, we start this off. Steve Moon gets here. Everybody in New Jersey parks on one side of the road facing one way. Notice
we got all kinds of room.
Oh man, so let's go see the car.
So, do you think he could take up any more parking space?
Jesus, look how far he is from the curb. Holy cow.
Nothing there. It's a small car.
Pretty much. Does it ever snow in Texas? Look at the snow.
Snowed all day on Sunday.
Wow.
Like I said though, on Tuesday we were flying because it was up to...
Oh, so this is a sharp looking little car.
Yeah.
Open the hood. How many horsepower has this thing got? 300?
184 stock, but it's had some work done to it, so...
All right.
200 now.
What I suggest you do is, can you put a plane in the back? Will a plane fit in there?
You know, when I lived in Hawaii, I had one of these in my Oreo in the back.
Everybody out
A 35 ship will fit in the back.
started, Joe.
Yeah, you fit a 35 size.
Did it start all by itself?
Well, you got enough guys here to push it if it doesn't
That's
set.
what I'm saying. This is why you want it.
Zambelli will be jealous. Uh-oh. Look, this is, you can tell he's, look at it, you can tell the school kids are here. Oh,
There, a 3-liter Alfa Romeo.
okay.
So you got headers on it.
It's good shape. Tube headers? Oh, man, you're a hot guy. You should be back in
hot, man.
Texas in about 2 hours.
Yeah, you got a
Dual electric fans.
oil pan guard down there, which is important on Alfa Romeos.
Because
What you have to do is, wow.
Wash it down completely,
Yeah.
inside and out, because you
Yeah.
see the road salt.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it detailed and probably take the wheels off and refinish them.
Yeah.
I see about getting Bill Wilson down in Texas to paint it. He's a
It's a sharp car.
He's a master painter.
Frank,
Yeah, there's no rust on it at all.
It's never been hit.
Yeah, and it's got a little dent over here, but it's never really been hit though. Yeah, it's got a little dent here, a little.
Talking about major body work.
Doesn't seem to have.
He actually.
So you drive all the way up from, he flies up from Texas. He's going to drive this right home tonight or tomorrow.
Come out of a 4-cylinder. This is a 6.
Okay.
These on the later models. This was plastic.
Yeah, but weren't they black?
Yeah, black plastic. Same with the rear lights. The guy can put a whole.
Okay, today's project, Mike Costello is going to show us how to join wing skins. The long, tedious, boring way instead of the windy way. No, okay, he's joining up the skins for, this is his A26 wing. Now you have 2 of these wings, Mike? One or two?
One came over here the day of the swap meet,
Okay,
and I kept a third one. He cut us an extra one for free.
okay, just in case, not
What a
that we...
guy.
What a guy.
He thought we might need...
Nah, he was thinking of you, Mike. My wing is done and glassed, Mike. Okay, so we got the good spray glue now. We did the test on a spray glue. Mike's gonna sand the skins here a little bit.
We're going to basically do what we always do, sand the cores, sand the skins, vacuum up all the dust, get the spray glue, and try to get this sheeted. And Mike, by the way, is building, are we ready to build this O-gauge layout, Mike? Let's get a commitment.
Closer.
We're getting close. How close is close? You know,
I have 2 airplanes in primer that need to get painted first before I make the dust that it's going to take to build the railroad.
Are we going to build this railroad? I want to see a commitment. The word I want to hear is yes.
Commitment.
I'm married. I want to hear this word, I'm committed, and not in an insane asylum either.
Yeah.
All right, let's get these guys going. Let's get the wings sheeted. Peabody took Doug Moon up. I don't know where he took them, but they never came back from lunch, so we don't know. Steve Moon disappeared. Maybe they went for a ride in that car of his.
Soprano tour of
The tour of Sopranoville, yeah. All right.
The 4-inch. And I tapered them down so that at the tip it would be less than at the root. But what happened at the root was that it just clears.
And that's no good, because if you miss by 1/8 of an inch, you're wasting a wing.
I don't have 1/8 of an inch.
No. So what Mike did is he put an extra piece of sheeting on.
A piece of 3-inch on.
Okay,
and
that'll work.
It clears everywhere by time.
Yeah, that's what you need to do.
Could we or should we cut? Is that enough play?
That's plenty. That's good.
Well, then can we cut?
Don't try to save wood. You're a wealthy man. You drive a $50,000 car. You know, buy a piece of balsa wood. And when we build this train layout, I don't want to be using rusty screws and glue that fell out of the back.
A bunch of secondhand.
Oh, how did I know? My stuff's all new and yours is secondhand. What's wrong with this picture? Nice way to sand the edges. If you look at what Mike does, and his technique's a little different. He has an L-shaped
This is a
piece with sandpaper on one side. Okay.
It's extruded, so you get a nice sharp corner here.
Okay.
And then you put the sticky back sandpaper on it.
And then you use that to make your 90-degree joint in the sheeting.
Just shim the sheet that I'm sanding up one thickness of balsa underneath, just so to get it away from that.
Right, so it's not right on the table.
Not right on the table.
Okay, that's a great idea. And you got the other T-square thing here to hold it in place. You see how that is? How he's getting at it? That's a nicer way to do it than I do it, actually.
Wow.
But you need those expensive jigs, and I'm just not into that spending money like you are.
It was laying around.
I got a feeling I'm going to wind up stealing it from you anyway.
Well,
no, that's good technology. That'll work well.
I'll know where it is. Unless you lend it to somebody and forget who it was.
No, I've done that already.
What happened to the last tool?
Okay, the next thing we got to do is make sure you've got, these are two different thicknesses. One is a little thicker, you said?
Yeah, this piece is thicker.
Okay. And Mike's using odorless CA. He prefers odorless because he doesn't like smelling it.
This piece, not. I'm going to have to trim something off this piece. This piece is not behaving itself.
This is how Mike joined. Now, what is that? Odorless CA that you like to use?
Yeah, because
I know you have a problem with it.
Gives me a problem.
Yeah, and Karen has a problem, so I'm going to have to try some of that.
It's expensive and it goes bad fast. So.
Okay, but now
live without it.
Let's see what you've got here. You've got this piece holding this down. Oh, you don't care about the speed. And you got this piece holding this down, and the tape holding the joint together. See, it's always good to see how other people work anyway, just to see the little techniques they use.
When you wet it up, you see the seam better.
Yep.
And sometimes if you see a little air, then you want to tighten it up a little bit.
Yep. No, the way you got this, you're doing a fine job. I put this under the category of useful information, stuff that you really can use.
And then
you can wipe it with a paper towel.
Help it kick.
What I found out was working good for me too. I was wearing rubber gloves while I was working.
Yeah, that would.
And once you get one drop of that on your fingers, God, the whole rest of the day it feels like you're sticking to things, and
especially this stuff dries slow.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're getting it everywhere.
Okay, now this skin is already sanded, or you still have to sand it?
Sand that skin.
Okay, so now Mike's been using a vacuum cleaner at my suggestion so that the table doesn't wind up with a bunch of sanding dust on it.
we'll get these sanded perfectly smooth. And what happened? Johnny already sanded the cores for him. So now John's going to have to sand everybody's cores. He screwed himself. You do one nice thing for somebody.
There's an extra core.
Yeah, no.
Buy two, get one free.
Yeah, okay. Well, he might have to do that, too. Better not tell anybody that.
Okay.
Uh-oh, they're back.
That's it.
Peabody's tour of Rutherford. Where did he take you, Steve? Tell us.
Oh, we went and saw the flying field. We went to the dungeon.
Oh, man.
Doug called while we were riding and told me to bring this Ashley home with me.
Oh, will it fit in that little car of yours?
Well, it's a take apart, isn't it?
Sure. I thought of that. I thought of Doug when I built the plane.
Well, you know, he made Doug made a lost phone jig for that.
Really?
He's going to build one take apart, and I'm going to build a Blue Max take apart, and we're going to see.
They're very similar.
Go into some contests, flying to some contests.
Well, if you're up here if you come up here for our spring contest, I'll let you fly it. Hey, you know, Oliver liked it.
Yeah, I'll fly.
He had a good time. He flew it all day Saturday. Every time I turned around, it was costing me fuel.
Parting gift.
This is a new windy pipe.
Yeah, actually, if I could come up for y'all's contest,
well, yeah, you fly for free. You're a pilot.
Plane,
What do you classify as what you are? You're not a pilot, right?
Flight attendant.
Okay, but you fly free is what.
I'm a coke pour.
That's the part that. The part that I like is the I fly free part.
What do you like?
That's Rich Oliver's 40 pipe.
Well, that's sweet. That is so.
That one's going up to Ken Clapson. Yeah, I handmade that one for Ken Clapson.
That's cool. That is so light.
Well, Ken Clapson's a good man.
This is one of his.
He's a good man.
Look at that thing.
Well, we make pipes here. That's one of the things we make. Now, what do you guys? Let's get a free ad here. What do you guys make? You making wheel collars, impact kits?
Yeah, we make the bullet wheel collars.
Bullet wheel collars.
NATO manifold kits. Actually, we got one for OS 52 also.
Okay.
Bulletproof aluminum clevis.
Bulletproof clevises.
We've got the kits. Kits is the Bear.
The impact kits, the Bear.
DC Nobler.
Are you doing Niebuhr's kits, or is Niebuhr doing it?
No, Niebuhr's doing those.
Okay.
And both Buccaneers.
Okay, and you're going to come out with Ted's plane. That's a imitation. Okay.
Imitation. Actually, Bob Hunt said we can do the Saturn also when we get done with the imitation. So.
Great.
Figured get the planes that are good that other people designed, that everybody knows they fly good.
Who cares? I haven't seen one guy yet that cares, including me. Now, Mike might sell you the rights to the A26 before this day's over.
How's this A26 working out?
Hey, he's got the sheeting joint while you guys were out at the local pubs. Yeah, that's the core.
The size of that sucker. Holy crap.
Now, Mike and I are building identical planes, but Mike's pretty much committed. He wants to fly it in scale. You want to fly it in, what do you call it, fun scale or semi-scale or whatever?
Sports scale.
And me, I just want to fly it. I don't care if they don't have contests. In fact, sometimes it's more fun without the... Yeah, why don't you try to come up for our spring meet?
When do you have that? When?
Well, no, Peabody's the contest director, not me.
When it's on the calendar. On my website.
Yeah. And don't bother bringing a plane. You could fly that one. There's no problem.
I invited everybody to come up. I said, don't worry if you don't have a plane.
Well, Wendy's always... And if you want a 4-stroke, I got a 4-stroke plane out in the garage. I got another 4-stroke plane over there.
Yeah. Actually, I really like the way the 4-strokes feel.
All right, are you ready? We going to join wings? What are you doing? Sanding? Man, this day's going right down the toilet here with all this company.
I got to go. Is your computer working, Wendy?
That sanding block working okay, Mike?
Yeah.
If you need it, just take the sticky back paper. There's sticky back paper in here.
Box. That's working. 25. Old ones?
Wow.
One thing we found real helpful, I leave them right on the table, are these little caps that John Papia sends me for mixing epoxy in.
All right. What's it say?
A nice little handy tip.
Yeah.
Okay.
That most people don't realize is important. Getting the dust vacuumed off of the skins and off the cores after you sand them. In this case, Johnny's already sanded them, so you're pretty much ready to put the glue on the skins. We didn't get enough time to do this. We had too many other things going on in the shop, especially lunch. So one night during the week or one day, Mike's going to take the skins home, finish sanding them, and then we'll get together. But these tools are well worth. That is an excellent
piece of
little thing.
Reynolds aluminum.
And the trick is it's got to be an extrusion, so it's got that corner. That tip alone is worth its weight in extruded aluminum. Good tip. And it is, that's a good one.
We wake up to an unexpected little snowstorm, but we have a little project to work on for Richard Oliver today. Some prototype test tune pipes, and it's going to dovetail in very well with, well, we obviously hope we don't have to go shovel snow today.
Problem has been this winter we've been fighting the weather. We had zero flying this whole winter, basically because two things. The weather's been so bad, and we've been in the middle of some health problems of our own, and sharing the time that Les has had some time he hasn't been able to be in the shop also. So we have this little project from Richard Oliver that we were going to work on. We laid out the tooling this morning. I want to make up a prototype test pipe for him using the N-can cone that he's supplied. Now, because it's snowing out there and miserable, we're going to basically try to make up this prototype pipe for Richard Oliver today. And well, it's getting difficult to do. It's getting very difficult to stay in between the weather problems and some of the health problems, again, that I've had, and that Les is dealing with. We're really in the middle. I keep saying it over and over. We're in the middle of some, this has been a nasty winter. But if I can get a prototype out to Rich, see, here's the advantage. Down in Houston, they can still fly every day. Up here, needless to say, we're not flying at all. And this is the one he wanted to make up. He's got some parts to make a stinger cap that we can mold right into the pipe. I'm going to look at his drawing. We have some that'll have we have the option now of having the stinger come out the bottom or come out the back. So what we have is a lot of choices when it comes to making up these 40 pipes, and because we're going to need a bunch for ourselves. He's got a lot of them in here. Okay, good. Let's show this up close. This is what this is hopefully going to allow us to do, both 60 sizes and 40 sizes, because we've got both sizes, of course. The baffle is either internal or it's the can baffle. We have both kinds, of course. But the stinger part, a lot of people have already built a plane where this basically fits into the bottom of the fuselage, and they want to run their stinger out at a certain location using one of those rubber elbows. A lot of people like this system because, especially if you haven't built the plane, you can build this and just let that stick out of the plane just a little bit. So what we're trying to do is fine-tune and upgrade all the possibilities we have so that we can custom make a pipe that fits right in the customer's plane, and it'll work well. Now, Richard's already test flown the 40 and the 60 pipes, so what we're trying to do here is just make these little elbows. These give us the choice. Now see what he's done? He's left a little extra material here so he can gradually open this hole up, get it fine-tuned, and then when actual production pipes, ones that just go from where we're going to make a bunch of them in a row, these are all still in the prototype section. But I thought you'd enjoy seeing how much time and energy both Richard and Bub have put into this project so far. This has been a labor-intensive project for sure. Now these, of course, are the can part that holds the baffle. And this is a really well-engineered thing. Now it gives us the choice. You see what the choice is? This has internal threads. And I can lock that in with the high temperature resin. When we want to make a pipe that has a custom stinger location, this gives us the other choice of just capping off the back. And so when you look at this, you can see this is really you can see by he's textured this so that the epoxy gets a good grip. You should never ever have a baffle come loose. One of the things that's a problem with some types of pipes. And you can see the machining work on everything Dub and Richard do is just out of control, just really nice. So anyway, and we'll do this, we'll lay up a pipe, get a sample made for Rich, get it down to him. So we have enough here actually to make 9 pipes. And what he requested was that I make one with a rear exhaust, again, so he could fine-tune this hole. And then we'll know that dimension for putting, when we're going to make a carbon stinger. He can do the fine tuning down there in the meantime while we're up here shoveling snow and shoveling our tenants out from the ice storm that's coming tonight. There's a lot of things I put on the video that I don't know if people, how many people really want to make their own carbon fiber tank? Not many. It's labor intensive. You need a lot of expensive tooling. But some people find it very interesting. In fact, I've had a lot of nice comments. Interesting how those parts get made. A lot of parts of the B25, like the cowlings, for instance, were very labor intensive. Most modelers might not want to do that. But I still think it's fun and interesting and informative just to see how many little tricks, little tips go into a model that's this complex. And so I hope a lot of these things like the tune pipe making, and we've actually used it as a fill-in while we were having all these other unrelated problems that have held up production. We've tried to use the time to put some interesting things on the video. One of the other things is, and Mike Costello, I think that thing was great. He left his wing here. He's going to be back this weekend, and we're going to try to finish up the companion A26 wing. And we still have Les's templates and the wing that Elliot made when he was here to be cored. We have its companion ready to ship up to John Duncan. So what really happens this time of year is, and the storms don't make it any easier, is we get involved in doing 8, 10 projects all at the same time. Every one of them, we have the new heads for the motors that Dub has sent up. Richard and Dub sent up heads for these motors. These are the heads that would go on a B25, new heads. We have some new material here that we've been testing out. Some new carbon tow that George Spar has sent that's a little bit higher quality. Mike Costello has been working on doing some upgrades, and Les was in the middle of doing this when his problems came to fruition. We have the scale tail now laid out, and we could actually be working on a tail. And we've been doing a good job of breaking in motors for customers whenever they would like it. We're also trying to come up with a little bit of an improved method of using the really ketchup pumps, making them into leak-proof fuel pumps. We're in the middle of that right now. So there's a lot of things I hope as a sidebar to building our planes that you enjoy some of these little high-tech side things. I think they're interesting anyway. And I hope you're enjoying them too. It's nice. I made up the first shell today. Every time I make a shell up, I make a 60 size shell and a 40. This way we can keep production going, because we're using 2 mandrels now. So in essence, what we can do is make a 60 pipe and a 40 pipe every day. Not so interested in the 60 pipe. We know that's proven. Richard sold a whole bunch of them, but this one I'm very interested in. Now, this is a precision fit in here. In fact, you can see it's almost a press fit. And then this little cap, and this will all get put on with resin, with threads. This is about as bulletproof as you can possibly make a tune pipe. Now this is one of the things I wanted to hopefully get down to Richard as soon as possible. There's a couple of test pipes. So I've been working on this even late tonight, trying to get these where we can get one down to him. I think this is such an excellent design and such an upgrade over whatever the other choices are. I know so many people in our little circle of friends have had the baffles come out of these pipes. It's got to be very frustrating. Now the carbon ones usually don't, but when you put aluminum in there, unless you do it this way, I just can't picture that it wouldn't be a problem. Anyway, wanted to show the layup and the way this is going together. And we're going to basically start getting a bunch of these ready for Richard. We can always make them out of all carbon for anybody that specifies they want that. Maybe a gram or 2 lighter, but certainly not a significant amount. And this is such a nice system. I just can't picture a better engineered way of doing it. But then everything they do down there, the Houston boys, I wanted to leave a little bit out the end. Okay. And everything left here is to do the post-curing once that final little epoxy joint cures. Alright, we're in the middle of making up another production run of pipes, and Brian's brought over his... You made this with the rod, with the molded leading edge? Oh, that looks nice. How much does it weigh? Did you weigh it?
Like, let's see. I think it's like 80 grams though.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So you
That looks real nice. And it's straight too. That's what I like about making them on the way we make them. You made this just like the video shows? No different?
Yeah. You see, I had two different types of wood here. This was clearly...
Yeah. Well, I got plenty of wood there if you need some wood. No, that looks like it's going to be good, but you got the wing done yet?
I got it framed up on sitting on the jig still. Like.
Okay, we're going to be making tails on video pretty soon as Les gets back from his health-related problems. Make sure you put some bushings in those horns.
Yeah.
Is that 3/32 or 1/8?
That's 3/32. The reason I used that was mainly because of the geometry, and I wound up with aluminum tubing in there like you had in yours.
You put tubing in? Okay, but make sure you put a bushing in there because that'll wear out so fast.
That I know.
Steel to steel is not a good bushing material.
I know. Been doing. But it did come out.
Definitely not a good bushing, steel to steel. And we start today off with a nice big box from Dave Midgley that has the plug. Here's the plug for his cowl for the new Cardinal fuselage. Now thanks to Dave, he's put 8 million packing peanuts in here. But I guess it did arrive okay. Here we go. This is one of the projects, finally got this thing out of the packing peanuts. Dave Midgley made the plug. It's got Brodak primer on it. It looks relatively ready to go. What we're going to do, we're going to work with Dave on this project. He'll be down, and I'm not sure exactly when, but I need to make a mold for this part, similar to the Typhoon and Miss Ashley. Plus, we have molded carbon fiber fuselages in the past, and we've kind of come up with what we're comfortable with as a technique for molding them. Well, I think this will go relatively well, I hope. But Dave, in particular, and some other people, including Elliot Scott, always wanted one with the turtle deck already molded in. So this will be our first attempt at molding one with the turtle deck in place. Now Dave made this from the carbon crutch that we already have, and he's already got that carbon crutch. He used that to really make this plug. I'm only concerned with, are we going to be able to mold this nice and neat and somehow get pieces of carbon in there? But again, that's part of the challenge of doing this. They've also made this oversized, so it's longer than it has to be, because then we're going to establish a brand new center line on there when we're all done. If you go back to the Miss Ashley videos and the Typhoon videos, you probably see that this is very similar. It's not a whole lot different, except for the turtle deck. And this may or may not be a problem up here. I think this will be fine now. But what will happen is when we're done with this, one of the things that will add to our little arsenal of things we can do is this will allow us to have some Cardinal-looking carbon fiber fuselages and possibly have them for sale. All of Dave's work. This looks real nice. The only thing I'm going to have to do is probably put a little fillet along here. When we actually make the mold for this, well, we're going to have to work on that as we go along. I'm going to have to seal this front up somehow. He didn't seal this up. Otherwise, you'll never get the plug. I'm not sure we're even going to ever be able to get the plug out. But even if we lose the plug in the course of doing it, we'll still have the mold, and the mold is what we're looking for. Now, we also have Elliot Scott's, the carbon that he brought from England, which I think is 4 ounce. And in the past, we've used 3 layers of 3 ounce. We're going to try to do the first one of these with 2 layers of 4 ounce as a way of keeping it a little bit lighter. We also have another technique that we're going to try when when Dave actually comes down to do this, and this is just a little preview of what one of our other shop projects will be. Once this shell is made, we're going to take the shell out and then put the shell back in the mold temporarily and fill it full of 16th balsa formers so that it remains rigid during the time we're setting our center lines and using a laser to line everything up. That'll be a very interesting thing when it's done. We're obviously not going to do it today, but because we've already done this in the past, we can build on that technology, and every one we make hopefully gets a little bit better, a little bit nicer, and we're getting closer to our goal of eventually having, possibly that we can sell these shells to people, and they can, well, replicate the thing on their own. Because it's really the part of making the mold and making the shell that gets out of the realm of most modelers. Actually, the rest of the work, once I'm still sick from the 3 weeks of being sick, boy. Hey, and I apologize again for the gap in the videos, but I have really been sick. Anyway, we're going to put this project aside. We're making some more pipes today, and we're trying to get Richard Oliver stocked up on pipes, and we're hoping Les is going to be back in the shop next week, if all goes well. Now we're in a full production mode here, and I really think, I really think Richard's going to be selling an awful lot of these in the near future. These, I love the way these go together. It's really nice how they, not only that they go together, but I think this is the most bulletproof design there ever was, ever will be. And we're looking forward to seeing how these are going to run. Now he's going to do some testing on them, both 60 and 40. You can see we have both sides, but I think this is really going to be an upgrade over some of the other ways pipes are made. Okay, Mike is back here with the skins. Now they're totally sanded.
Totally sanded.
Okay, that's good. Now Mike Ferguson wanted the latest videotapes. I told him he's got to wait till today because Mike's coming up with some real good stuff. There's actually some good stuff on this tape too. Alright, now you got to mark which is, let's see how you did this, because this is important for guys doing a first wing.
Inboard root.
And you marked which is the glue side.
Yeah. This side goes towards the core.
Okay, and if you have any sea grain, which it doesn't look like you do, you want the sea grain by the trailing edge.
Yeah. Some of them do.
And we've done a double check to make sure that, guess what, the glue doesn't melt the foam, right? Mike has his own supply of secret glue, so.
That's old glue.
Old glue, new glue. All right. All right, let's get the cores out. You left the cores here last time you were here, so let's get these puppies going, baby. You got the leading and trailing edges all roughed out here ahead of time. Now the reason for that is it sounds like it's an insignificant thing, but it isn't. Because once we get the skins on both sides, we want to get them just rough trimmed and get the leading and trailing edges on as soon as possible. We don't want to wait on that. I don't want to spend a half an hour waiting. See the newspaper today? B25 was on the cover of the paper.
No, I didn't see that.
Ah! Wait, let me show you. Check this out. Oh, it's in the bird's cage. You can tell I have a lot of respect. Chicky, do you respect the B25?
Ooh, I used it more.
Well, if they did. Mike, check this out. These are coming apart. What kind of glue did you use? That C8? There we are. Check this out. You know that big B25?
Oh, that's at the museum.
At the museum, yeah. It's on the front page of the paper. We have this on video for anybody that's missed the whole adventure, and we have that seminar that I did down by his club. This guy owns his own club. Really neat. What's happening to the sheeting now? Let's address. Oh man, no good. You can't use that. Okay, so we've run into the first problem. First problem is Chicky has no paper in his cage. The odorless CA is another lesson to learn. Here on Windy Videos, we tell it like it is. All right, we got to redo those seams.
Well, I can't do them.
The vision that we've had to make, Mike used, what I suspect happened here is the odorless CA, even though it looked real neat, the joints are coming apart. So what we're going to do is we put down a sheet of Teflon sheet. You could use wax paper. We just happen to have this from Dave Midgley. I would say on these that are really split, let's put tape on the back. Otherwise, the glue's going to leak right through.
I'm trying to think of another way of doing this that wouldn't be, well, we can't use it the way it is now, so it's of no value to do it that way.
Do them like I did them originally. Put tape across the seams to hold them together tight,
exactly.
and then just CA them, and then remove the tape and CA.
But figure out which side of the sheet is going to be the...
We already know that. It's this side.
You want that side to be against the foam. You don't want to have to re-sand the outside again.
Right.
If possible. Okay. Well, this is what happens. We're trying to put together some good information on foam wings. And this is one of the things that tentatively could happen. If you're
CA, it isn't as runny.
Yeah.
It's too thick.
Too viscous. Yeah. We could also, if you want to, we could try to do them with watered down alphatic resin. Then you got to wait a half an hour while it dries. You want to try that?
Well, we could do that, but
I mean, if you don't want to do the CA thing, if it's going to bother you.
I can do the CA thing. If you
All right.
want to do the CA thing.
Well, you go get us a pizza when you come back. The skins will be done. Yeah, he knows that action, baby. Whenever I do this, and I'm trying to repair these skins, I'm putting on a coat of the thin CA. Just trying to get, even though these seams are done with the odorless, this is much thinner. We've gone over all the seams, and Mike is over there shaking up. Shake, shake, shake. I don't hear the ball move. That's your glue, too. That's the stuff that's 100 years old.
You got a sledgehammer?
Well, I don't know. We're going to do a test. Always test the glue. Pike cement. It's an old can. How old do you think this is? 20 years old? But we still want to do a test. I don't want to take any chances that we're just going to take a little test on us. What you have to do is just spray a big glob of this on, and we'll just wait and see now if this is going to eat the foam. I'm always concerned they change the chemicals in this glue, and you don't know. It's always good every single time. Takes 5 minutes to do the test to see if this is going to get sticky.
What we wanted to see.
You're impressed. It's your glue, so it doesn't work. What do I care? Now I can't get my hand off. Okay, you know what we're going to do?
The best part, it was free.
For me, it was free. You had to steal it.
I didn't.
Where did you steal this stuff from?
They were closing down a plant, and they had a bunch of this left over. I said, we're going to throw it away. And I said, oh, can I have that?
Do you have any Mike's Train House big boys up there? No. Mike said he was going to bring trains today so we could go up on a layout. Guess what? He wimped out, right? I forgot.
Customer had to go to lunch, so.
Okay, so now what you want to do, though, you want to put little tracer lines on it, but you want the leading edge to be parallel here. In other words, you don't want to have that. No. And you want to leave. How much do you have?
You do this, you got.
Exactly.
What I was envisioning was setting it down something like this.
Okay, we'll put little tracer lines, and always tape the back down. And you can see from, I guess, 2 videos before, when I didn't do that, this jumped up and split the sheeting in the whole wing. Okay, you ready to do this? We'll spray the glue on? Yeah, he sprayed.
I didn't get the ball loose yet.
I don't think it's coming. I think you're waiting at the train station.
You got an X-ray machine?
No, I got you to shake it. Well, tip, I always do this as well as using tracer lines.
We ran an outboard.
Huh?
This is outboard.
We'll get the other core.
Put it on.
No. Just get the other core. Stop fooling around.
Wait a minute.
And put these pieces.
Core.
Okay. Just, yeah.
Or what is it? It doesn't matter, does it?
Did you weigh the inner and outer? The heavy ones go on the outside?
This is the inboard. This is the lighter one.
Okay, well then get the inboard core.
This is what? The outboard core?
Do you have them marked?
Didn't mark the cores. So this.
You don't have to. The cores are the same. They should be. The cores don't change.
Yeah, the core could be this way.
Let me get
the inboard core. The inboard wing.
Okay, so you've decided you do have a lighter skin and a heavier one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I weighed all the parts before I assembled them.
Okay. And now you marked which side is glue?
Right.
And that's always good to do?
Glued together.
Okay, let me get the door. We got company. You spray. Go front to back the first time and side to side the second time. So with the temperature out here, that's probably going to take all day to dry. All right, bring that in, do the same thing with the core. You can actually candle it and see if you've missed any spots. Can you see it?
I can't candle it in here.
Okay, now we have another student here. Jim is here. He's got a coat on inside the house. What does that tell you?
We tape the corners down while this is getting sticky. Just let it tack up. And Mike has left his little imprint lines of where he's going to lay out the core. Another relatively useful tip for doing this. This is helpful for you because you already did a foam wing, but you can always pick up some tips, that's for sure.
That's it.
This side glue, we're going to do a little tack test. As soon as it gets sticky, this side is still wet, but now maybe it seems redundant, all this foam wing stuff, but the truth is every time we do one, we find some new, like Mike just brought to our attention, those little sanding sticks and stuff, and each one just gets a little lighter, a little better, and Wes just reported in that he got his shipment of wood. What's the name of that place? Northeast Balsa? Northern Balsa? Wes said the wood was outstanding, so we're looking forward to getting some, seeing what quality the wood is. Now, as soon as this goes to tack, and the way we know, again, I want to feel fly paper. I want 2 pieces of fly paper. Now, this is almost ready. You're ready when, give it another minute. I would say the time is between 2 and 3 minutes. Now, you get to line the leading edge up once, so don't, make sure you're not off your, your little indentations. Because I never erase video, Mike. Man, let's see.
But am I ready?
Let's see. Give yourself, make sure you got your little marks where it's supposed to be. Get the leading edge pressed down. The cores are in, those little replacement parts. Roll it back slow. Roll it nice and slow because that's what helps make it stay straight. Now you still got the trailing edge taped to the table. Now you can untape it. Take those 2 little pieces of tape off.
I think the guide marks are very bad.
The guide marks are a big help. We'll see. Every time you do one, you find little tips. The more you do, the better they get.
Well, the reason I wanted to...
And that's what's helpful about the video. You don't have to make every mistake in the world. You can watch me make it.
One of the main reasons I put the guide marks on, because I wanted to have the center tapered piece parallel with the high point
exactly
of the wing.
Now roll it a few times because you're using, there you go, you're using the straight part of the table to ensure that it's perfectly straight. I mean, you don't want to do this in midair. You'd rather have that everything is on a flat table now. And we already have the leading and trailing edges pre-cut. Does that feel like it's stick? A lot of times, if you rush it, the glue on the front and the back doesn't want to stick as well as it normally would. As soon as it's stuck nice and tight, then trim off the leading and trailing edges. Just trim the overage on it, and we go right out, do the other side, and then right out and get the leading and trailing edges on. See, that's the thing, Jim, is to do this and get it done. You don't start like right now. You don't go for pizza or coffee or something. You want to have one side, get the other side on, get the leading in, and put it aside.
Do you trim this off before you put the second side?
Oh, you got to, yeah. You got to trim it.
All right, I think we're ready to trim.
Or get it rough trimmed. Trim it within 1/16 of an inch is even fine. And for a new blade, which Mike is carefully inserting without sticking his finger. I got Band-Aids, don't worry. Look, changing the blade, job 1.
Should have done that ahead of time.
Okay. You can leave 1/16 of an inch if that makes you happy. Trim it, leave 1/16, and then when we have the 2 sides together, what's important now is that this front doesn't start coming off. Usually right here, if the sheeting starts pulling back, you know you either didn't use enough glue or the glue isn't dry, one or the other.
It's staying very nice.
Very nice, yeah. Now always,
a piece of A-grain there too.
And always use the table as your way of keeping everything straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jim, why don't you hold this up for him?
I can manage.
Oh, okay. In other words, if you have an extra guy here, you can use his help. See, you got the grain going right on a high point of the wing now. That's nice. That's an extra little benefit. I had my skins tapered, but again, it's all little bonus things. And I think the wood you have is a little bit better than that wood that I have. But when you're done, we'll weigh the wings. We'll see how you're doing.
I gave you my wood, which is what you use.
Yeah, I know. You gave me a screw, and I think.
You gave me your wood.
I don't know. Hey, this is a wife swapping deal. I don't know who won on this. Wait till you see how Carlos Serra makes his tip weight boxes. I think that is just great.
Is that,
He was here with his...
more that all?
No, that's fine. I just do the same thing on the edges. Try not to split the wood. You might want to use a cutting pad out there. There's a cutting pad right up by the VCRs. He'll just replace the blade. You can tell he doesn't pay for the blades. Using this, we get these from Brodak. XL cutting pad. It just saves the blade and you get a lot nicer cut. You can leave a 16th there. It's not going to matter. You get the last little bit off with a sanding block anyway. I like that. Okay, you checking out how he's done that?
Okay.
Where's your wing? Did you bring your wing today?
No, I just brought the...
Oh, okay.
plans. I wanted to check over...
Good use for your stomach, here.
Yeah, there are advantages to being a fat guy. You and I both have them. All right. You ever notice skinny guys never have good foam wings? That would just get it because it's got glue. No, you can reuse it.
To somebody.
I'm selling it to you.
This breaks my heart.
Get used to it. All right, now what I like to check here is just that we got a good bond. Oh, you got a nice bond there.
That's nice. Yeah.
Turn that onto this, Mike, like this, and press it down. I always feel better if I know I can sight that. Now, sight the trailing edge. Make sure you didn't somehow build in a warp. Let me see the trailing edge.
Oh, really?
Perfect. No, I mean, sometimes, you're just clumsy with it, or you're heavy-handed. No, that's good. Now,
Not a heavy-handed.
obviously, repeat step A to step B. Now, let's sheet the other side. You got the other skin.
This was the inboard core.
You don't know what it is.
Oh, if we got two outboards over here, that's gotta be it.
Okay, get the sheeting.
Inboard.
You got it marked. Okay, just repeat all the steps A to step B, step C.
Okay, I'm gonna do the guidelines first.
Okay. Do the guidelines. Do the glue situation.
All right. This is the trailing edge. This is the leading edge.
Okay.
This is the...
Put your little guide marks on there. That worked.
Hey, look.
I like to do it with those little pieces in there. Just shove them in. It doesn't matter.
Because if you lean on it, you don't have to worry about it.
I think it keeps it from, you almost always, one thing you buy with a foam wing is it's straight. It may be a lot of things. Easy to buff you buy, easy to paint, and usually dead straight. The high point's parallel now. You can mark, so when you drop that down, the high points are still parallel.
So now where's my little marker?
And certainly for the great majority of modelers, and especially the ones that where time is a factor, if you have a family or you have, in Mike and I's case, we both want to build our O-gauge railroads. The time we save not making a built-up wing, we can pretty much build a railroad, I guess. I don't know about Mike's. He's got a lot more money than I do. How long is yours going to be? 27 feet or 28 feet?
One leg is 28 feet long.
Oh, my God.
But
hire a guy.
Can't be as wide as yours.
No, but, well, we'll see.
Now, practice run.
Okay, practice run. Get that laid down in place.
Something like that. That'll work. Okay, we're good.
That's good.
All right, so I'm gluing the skin first.
Just repeat everything we just did. Repeat it over and over again until you get right back to the point where you have that skin there. Okay, I hope Michael Ferguson's watching this and taking a good lesson from Mike the Glue Boy Ostello. Now, a trick here is, another trick, is face the leading edge toward you, because it's the leading and trailing edges and possibly the root where you want to have a little extra glue. See, if the leading edge is away from you, you tend not to get enough on the leading edge. So when you're all done, just reverse it and spray that leading edge real good.
I did that before you got out.
Oh, okay.
I'll do it again because...
a little extra glue isn't going to kill anything. If you hold it up to the sun, you can see it looks pebbly. It looks rough.
then you know you got enough glue on there.
You know, it's the same situation as the other one. Right where the ellipse is going to be.
Okay. You got a dry spot.
And you know wherever you see like core tracks,
Yep.
that's rough spots.
Okay.
And it doesn't get in there too good.
All right, now can you candle that? Just hold it up to the sun, whatever sun there is. It's 8 degrees out here.
And the trilling edge looks light.
Okay. All right, make sure it's fly paper. You want a whole sheet of fly paper there before you're done. Just to give you an idea of how cold it is out here. This is why. Let me show you something. This is cool. This cover that Midgley made for my my pond. You can see the fish pond here. This is the only part of the pond that isn't totally iced up, is where the bubbler is. Everything else is solid ice. It hasn't been above freezing. We're hoping we don't lose any fish. I check this 3 or 4 times a day, but it's really a problem getting the fish to live through the winter. And we have lost the fish in the past. All right, how's that look? Oh, the cops are coming to get you, Jim.
The EPA police.
The EPA police. They found out Jim is using illegal spray glue in Wendy's house.
I got it in my hand.
You're killing the environment. No, you hold it while the cops are here. You're using that illegal spray glue that works. Heaven forbid you should make things that work in life. So you're all set to lay this up? Yeah. The neat thing about doing foam wings, too, is the first one you do takes a little bit of time. I'm sure what you found out when you did the Nobler, right? But the second, third, and fourth, every time you do one, it just goes quicker and better than the time before, and it's very repeatable. Very, very repeatable. Okay, you all set, baby? Fly paper. Make sure the core and that piece is both fly paper. If it isn't, go outside and put some more glue on it.
I want more glue over here.
Okay, take it outside and put some more glue on. It's easier to do it now than now. See, right now you don't want to have to put that extra glue on. The best time to do it is right now, and that's a good lesson.
See, this
You can feel it.
This grain is softer. It's soaking up more.
Okay, but you can feel it.
You
Look,
can tell from one piece to the next. This piece is not soaking up glue.
if you do this and you feel a point where it's not sticky, go put more glue on it. And that real punk wood, this must be real punky soft wood. It's like a sponge.
Where's the glue? Right there.
Jim the glue man. Keep that glue warm, Jim. That glue's going to freeze in 2 minutes out there. Well, I've been molding up more of these rocks and mountain parts for my train layout, and for Mike's too. Of course, Mike's train layout is roughly double what mine is. That rubber mold is just, you can see how many parts we've made. We've made hundreds of parts from this mold already. You're making history here. Now, Mike Ferguson is not going to forgive you if these go in crooked, so get these right. Actually, Mike's doing a good job here. Excellent. And it's a lot better for me to shoot the video when somebody else is actually doing it. Get that leading edge straight. That's the most important thing. Yep. Run your hand around the whole length. There you go, the whole thing. Now when you roll it back, you almost can't make a mistake because that little piece of tape is holding it. It's that little piece of tape that makes everything work as well as this system does. And I expect Mike Ferguson's wing to be in the mail to me very soon. So you saw Wallgas this week too? He's up here from Tucson?
He was...
I bet he likes the cold weather, huh?
Oh man, he couldn't wait to go.
That wimp. All these guys that moved down south.
He shows up at the house with these things he bought from Sports Authority, these little things you crack in their hand warmer.
Oh! All these southern boys.
He's gonna bring dozens and dozens of them back to Tucson, you know.
Let him bring some ice back.
Wimpy frozen friends.
Hey. When you live in this part of the country, you learn to deal with a lot of things.
Character.
That's right. It builds pneumonia is what it builds. Okay, now as soon as that's stuck real nice, then you do the trim on this. Now let's get those leading and trailing edges on, baby. And this is why right now you want to have them pre-cut and ready to go. You don't want to be fooling around now cutting the wood. Get the wood trimmed to within like a 1/16, and then the last thing, trim it up right up. Use a new blade. Don't be like Mike Costello. See what happens if you leave
more than this out. If you left the whole piece, it's hard to line up the cord a second time. And if you're using real dull blades, you wind up splitting the wood out here at the tip. You get all so aggravated. Now you got to get them trimmed right up on the core, of course, before we put the leading and trailing edges on. See, if you come over here, you're going to get more done in one day, in one afternoon. I know, because when you're home, everything is against you, you know? Your wife's giving you jobs to do, and you got to do all these mundane things. If you come over here, you can shut the cell phone off and just be
didn't see me do that.
Just be to hell with the business, to hell with money. The mortgage will get paid long after you stop answering that cell phone. Don't you worry.
Everyone's job's good enough. It's always good to have a woman that's capable of supporting you in the way that you wish.
That's right. Hey, you know, women want to be equal. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm the biggest women's lib advocate in the world. I never want to go back to the days when women don't have jobs. That's out of the question.
All right, so now we're just doing...
Okay, now trim it even. Easiest way to do it is with a 26 blade on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Leave about a 64th if you can. And when you have the 64th, then do the last little bit on a belt sander. That's how Les did it, and it worked out real well.
Belt sander?
Yes, the sanding belt. It's sticky back paper glued to the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now you want to get it to within a 64th.
I might do this in a couple of passes.
Take as long as you need. That glue is holding great. And by the way, even if you did have to answer the phone now, or if you did have to do something, a good thing is just do this. Just put some tape on there.
Oh, to keep it...
Yeah, you don't want to leave it. Okay, Mike's bringing it down to like a 16th in the last little bit, and you want to try to get a 90-degree angle. You don't want to have an angle here when you're done.
Good way to go.
No.
So the grain's pulling the knife and the...
Yeah, it's pulling the grain, so go the other way. And you're always better leaving a little extra on and block sanding it off than if you try to get the last little bit, you take a chunk out of the core, then you got a patch. Now what we're looking for is to get the edges square. Not just knife edge square, but square so that this piece of wood lays, the leading and trailing edge lay on perfectly flat. And we'll put the leading and trailing edges on with alphatic resin. It's best if you do a little bit, look at it, do a little bit. You don't want to take an extra anymore. As soon as you're into the foam, you're done. You know, you don't want to do any extra.
Yeah.
We have this perfectly flat edge, and I think that's the most important thing. Now when we put the alphatic resin on here, Mike, just try to get it on the wood.
Okay.
You know, the foam isn't going to hold anything. The edges are already cut.
You want to take a Q-tip and wet them?
You can do that. That's a good idea. Alphatic resin. If you want to moisten up the wood a little bit when you use alphatic, it doesn't. And a lot of guys like to put a little bit of water in the alphatic. I just glue it and be done with it. Yeah. In my ultra neat work area. We haven't done our spring cleaning yet, baby.
I'm gonna get a little water.
Alphatic, whether you use Elmer's or Tight Bond. A lot of guys prefer to take the glue and put about a third water in it, mix it, and well, yeah, and you can, what Mike's doing, he's wetting the wood first, then putting the aliphatic. Or you can take it right out of the tube and use it. It works pretty good no matter how you do it. It seems to work well.
Water swells the...
Yeah, it gets you a little penetration, better penetration. All right, so we'll show every way we can on the video. That's the whole idea, is to learn from each other. Wet it up, got a little cup of water. You know who was good? I hope the guy's still around, that Mike Speedalier.
Where?
Is he still around?
I don't know, but he was...
He used to be the master. He was doing demos.
He never painted his planes. He always left them like in the clear finish.
Yeah, and you could never see a seam.
It looked like it was cut out of one piece of wood. Yeah, he was a master, boy. But he showed this trick in one of our club demos that I don't even.
Everybody's been doing it since, but this is also a good trick.
Yeah, it's excellent.
If you get a dent in a piece of wood,
right,
put some water on it, then get your monocoat iron and heat it up.
Yeah, the steam swells the wood.
Steam swells the crushed cells.
Yep.
And
Mike Rogers showed that trick one time on a tape. That was pretty good. It worked pretty well.
Wow. That's an old carpenter's trick.
You might want to clean the tip.
Dainty little tip.
Yeah, well, we were working on a table upstairs, making a train table with that glue. Kajeski glued all it. We used about 6 bottles of this stuff. He glued every joint. Screwed and glued, baby.
A likely candidate to blame.
Yep. You gonna get him to make you a table too?
He'll be there.
27-foot run, man. We could run a 100-car train on that.
You'd be surprised.
Mine's only 16.8, and I could hit 15, 18 cars on. Okay, the idea here is to get the glue only on the leading edge and not on the foam. That's where you waste a lot of glue just doing nothing, just going along for the ride. Did you clean that tip off?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Mike was just globbing that on like crazy whenever we were putting the joists in that table. And for anybody interested, that Wendy's Railroad video is about half shot. Get on a waiting list because we're going to sell those on the internet, and I may not have any loaner copies. Last time we made a train video, we sold 700 copies in about 2 weeks.
Does that say that the train hobby is a little more popular than...
Oh my God, there's 100 guys in trains for every one there is in planes. It's unbelievable. That crazy video I made with Roy, 700 copies, Mike.
Really?
Yep.
I never knew.
We still have the mailing list of the train guys, and the other nice thing is Elliot's going to make a website for the train stuff, a separate one from the airplane, so we can identify airplane customers from train customers. That'll be a big help. Okay, you ready to go here, baby?
Can I hold that wing for you, Mike?
Yeah.
That'd be a big help. Or you can be the tape tearing specialist. We have a highly skilled job of tearing the tape. All right, Mike, there you go. These are all the little things. And next week, Jim's going to bring the Nobler down here. He's ready to rock. He says, you guys don't build fast enough for me. Karen doesn't understand why do pants always have so much glue on them.
The bottom of your bench.
All right, here you go.
That's warped.
It doesn't matter. You're going to tape it in place. What do you think? That's going to make the wing change?
I don't know. It's a pretty big curve.
I'll make another piece if you want. Use the other one and we'll make another one before we start the wing. I know a guy who's got a whole box of wood out in the other room. Let's just use up all his wood. He'll never know. Who needs Jim? We got the thing flat on the table. You've been fired, baby.
I sanded that pretty good.
Jim goes, oh, there goes my job security. By the way, another great tip. Glue, when Elliot was here, he said, what a great idea, glue the tape thing down. Yeah, just epoxy it right to the table. Why fool around? Nothing worse now than when that tape thing starts moving. Isn't that nice having that glued down, Mike?
It is.
Yeah, that's pro stunt, baby.
I like that. Where do you get this tape, Wendy?
Chart, where Route 80 and River Road and Hackensack, not River Road, what is it? Green Street.
Green
Street.
Short?
Yeah, Auto Body Supply. And if you go down there to get me 10 rolls too, and I'll pay you for them. The trip down there isn't, it's a half-hour trip to get tape. I just wait till somebody else, Peabody goes and gets it all the time. Your mission, should you decide to accomplish it, would be to supply Mike's A26 building program with green tape.
Green tape.
Actually, it's good tape. It's much better than the Home Depot stuff.
The Home Depot stuff is painter's tape. It has no glue on it.
Is this 3M?
Yeah, it's 3M.
Better than that blue tape then.
Oh, that's this stuff.
Blue
This
tape has no glue on it.
this is like no glue tape. You may as well just.
You got it? Yeah, I think we got it.
All right, now you got to do the trailing edge the same way. We'll put that aside to dry. By the time you have,
There's excess balled up in there.
get a Q-tip and some water.
Probably good.
Get it out. It's easier than sanding it, that's for sure. Let me see how much you got in there. Okay, just get a Q-tip. Yeah, get a Q-tip and some water. That's all. We can give you full credit for that trick. Just go right up to the end. You'll only have to sand where the tape is. Now, the idea of scheduling work here, one of the things that makes this a real good thing to do, as this wing is drying, Mike's going to put the trailing edge on, and then we're going to put this one up by the heating vent to dry. While this one is drying, Mike will do the other one off camera, and what will happen is, by the time he's got the second one ready to go, this one will be ready to carve the leading and trailing edges. By the time he's got this leading and trailing edge carved, the other wing will be ready to go. So we have a good schedule.
Do I get a lunch or breaks or anything?
No, you get to go for pizza when I get hungry. We got, see, this is terrible. Jim is skinny. See, we got to change this. He's going to start hanging out at Wendy's. Wait till you see every week you'll see.
I got to see my union rep.
He's going to be 300 pounds by the time this gets his Nobler built. All right, this is all going together well. You happy with this so far, Mike?
Yes.
And can you envision into the future on that day when it's all buffed out?
Painting the shark's mouth on me.
Oh, man, I have no lack of vision. It's a lot more fun having vision than not having vision. I can envision that nice big 27-foot run of freight cars in your cellar with my Allegheny pulling them. So you didn't bring a train today. I thought for sure you were going to bring a train. So while this was drying, we could go run some trains.
I ran home, and my intention was to throw the engine and the skins in the car and then get going. But then I made an appointment to have lunch with somebody. I was a little crunched for time, so I ran home, just grabbed the skins and left. Went to Paramus, had lunch, and then came down here.
More important to get the A26 done. Get it.
Well, the last time we set out to work on this thing,
yeah, we had a lot of company.
Half an hour playing with the Allegheny.
Well, hey, that's important too. The real inexpensive Home Depot tape that's about $1 or over $1.50 or something. One of the things this is good for, though, is we're going to block this off so Mike can carve down the leading and trailing edges. What we're doing, we're trying to buddy up on this. This one has been drying a half hour, 45 minutes, so it's ready to carve. As soon as he gets the leading and trailing edges on this, he can start carving this. And the reason we're kind of putting a push on this is we want to go run the trains. Except Mike didn't bring any trains, so tough. Okay. But that is going to be the next step, and like I said, the nice thing about this, you can get this all done in one work session and get on with it. I've made excellent progress here. I roughed out this one, but it's still got to be detailed. Just some of the tricks are hold a 26 blade at about a 45-degree angle. Mike will be ready to start on this one soon. Put it up by the heating vent. If you put that by the heating vent, half hour, 45 minutes, it's ready to carve. Depends how much water you put in the glue, if any.
I didn't really.
The water delays the time just a little bit. Put it right up on top there, up on top by the heating vent. Like I said, this one, I've just got this roughed in for Mike so we could get a little jump on this. Now he's got to get the final little bit down there, and then the last little thing around the leading edge off. And then block sand this. I like to block sand the last little bit of wood away, because we're going to have to put the dihedral in. I guess next week you'll be ready to put the dihedral angle in here, huh? I still have the stuff to put the dihedral so it'll be equal. 1 inch of dihedral is all you need. It looks plenty scale and no downside to it.
Where are we at with this?
I shaved the heavy stuff. Just take the last little bit and then take a sanding block while you still have the tape.
And then the last thing, you can just round around it. I like to get this angle, work up to the flat. And the last little thing, or you can take one of these little, little things that have a curve in them like this, and put the leading edge on like that. You're going to have a flat trailing edge or a round trailing edge?
Flat.
Okay.
Right?
That's even less work.
Well, isn't that
The truth is, Mike and I have two different work styles. I don't know what we actually should call your style, but I know this isn't my style.
I'm tripping over it.
He's going.
Now, this is all stuck to the floor.
I know, and it all has glue on it, so we're going to videotape Mike on his hands and knees picking this stuff up. I don't, Les and I don't work this way. It's sticking, I know.
We have to get this all up before we go upstairs?
Yeah, we're not allowed to run trains until
We'll have pizza
until this shop is spotlessly clean.
I gotta tell my cell phone back. Oh, that piece isn't coming up.
No. So the next time we see Mike's wing, I'm just going to say this, we made a spirited decision here because it was so cold and working outside today was tough. What Mike's decided to do, he's going to sand the leading and trailing edges at home, and he wants to go up and run trains. Well, hey, that's cool too. Anyway, now we have one wing finished and one sheeted, ready. Next weekend we'll put the dihedral brake in and the controls, and we'll be ready. Next week, this will be all sanded out and ready to go, right, boss?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's a promise. This is a commitment.
It is a commitment.
A total commitment on the part of Mike Costello to get this A26 to market. Because someday he'll be sitting here looking at it just like this. But you got to have the vision. Now, this is the first time Mike is running a DCS controlled train, so he's excited about it. That works nice, doesn't it? I like how the commands are all in scale mile an hours. Anyway, we got Mike. Mike's going to go home and sand out the wing, and we're just going to play trains until it's time for pizza. And little by little, we'll visit the work that we've been out. So far, it's been a lot of fun. Bonzo, any fun or not? And if that isn't enough fun, you can always come in this room and just check out the A26 wing. My wing's done. Mike's will be done next weekend for sure. There's the wing that will become the A26. Our 40 project, Les, of course, is away on some health-related issues, but always nice to have the trains, have the planes, have plenty of things to do and see. And most of all, plenty of good friends like Mike that we never seem to get sick and tired of fooling around with this stuff. See what's nice with that control? You can go on the other side of the layout. You have to crawl on your knees under there to get at it. Anyway, hope you don't mind sharing this little adventure with us. Bombers, articulated steam engine. I'm not sure life could be any better. So Chicky, the video's almost over. Freddie's back with Mommy. We're not going to see Freddie for a while. What's the hopping for? Hey! Oh man. Michael Ferguson finally finishes his foam wing. What do you think, Chick? I don't know, but there better be some interesting stuff on that next video, Wendy. Well, I hope you're right. We're really looking forward to these A26s. We're looking forward to seeing Les get back in the shop. We expect him within a week or so he'll be back, and we're just going to work on all these projects. There's just stuff happening everywhere here, and I really hope you are picking up some tips and tricks, information, something you'll be able to pass on. Looking forward to trying to get this foam wing technology upgraded just a little bit, something that might benefit everybody. And of course we're going to be making tune pipes, and hopefully as long as Richard Oliver's selling those motors like hotcakes. I'm not sure if I can take this Freddie much longer. I've got a permanent babysitting job, babysitting this bird all the time, but he can really wear you down. And so we hope we'll see you on the next tape. Again, it's been fun. It's been a cold winter. We've been sick for a while. Les has had some problems, and we hope we're all going to be back on track real soon. If there's one thing I'm looking forward to right now, with that temperature out there and that snow, I am looking forward to summer, getting that cover off the pond, seeing if these fish make me worried with this cold temperature, that ice on a pond. There was one winter we lost all our fish, and I hope that never happens again.